Shabir Ali, he come round and he want to ask for your hand, or Zakir Naik. Zakir Naik is 54 years old. Your daughter is 6 years old, and he came to marry your daughter according to Allah teaching. Are you willing to do that?
I would advise her to wait.
She says, I will advise her to wait. You would advise who? You would advise your 6 years old girl to wait? Beloved, once again, I welcome you to Lawson Media. You know for sure that whenever I get in my seat here, it's about we dismantling those several assertions that have been made against Christianity since time immemorial. Beloved, you know what? Cheer up. All we get to remain. We all do not know when we're going to leave this very planet. All we get to remain. There is a great judge awaiting us. God is always gettable. He's capable of being reached. All we get to remain. Let whatever people just never ever bring you down. Never feel abased, not abased. All we get to remain. Never get yourself below the cardinal point. Never tell yourself perhaps everything is over. Never. Okay, where perhaps you thought was over is actually going to be the place where God says you're starting. All we get to remain. There are many tragedies in life. Many tragedies befall us in life. All we get to remain. But in life, whatever you do into your brother, what you have to think of is that if it happened to me, what would I do? Do you believe in karma? Seriously, I had no belief in such, because I actually thought perhaps the greater universal law that supersedes or that militates against karma is the law of forgiveness, or the universal law of forgiveness. Or we get to remain. The universal law of forgiveness states that one needs to forgive, and this actually leaves us in hostility. Or we get to remain. But we actually do forgive, so God do the fight for us. Or we get to remain. Seriously, God gives us the boon to fight for always and every time. Man has no power to do whatever. We have to be sincere. Don't be an unrelinquished person, because time waits for no man. There is going to be a time we're all going to be presented before the supreme judge, and he's going to judge us all. Whatever we do in secrecy, God is the judge. He's going to judge us. Shall we take a quick break and return? We actually going to react on a program that went on between a Christian prince and a Muslim. All we get to remain. Christian prince and a Muslim. It's not only about Muslims, but sometimes we will divert it to advising our own selves. All we get to remain. Quick break and return. You're welcome back, beloved. May God richly bless you for waiting for us. There are many books in Islam, and Muslims do accede to the fact that these books says a lot or reveals a lot about their prophet, and whatever you would love to know about Islam. Seriously, these books can help you. They can guide you understanding toward whatever you want to know about Islam. Or we get to remain. I think there are the errant much in regards to or about Muhammad in the Quran itself, but the traditions of Islam, or we get to remain. There are many books in Islam that Muslims do believe to be authentic and genuine, and if they say anything about the Prophet, I think you have to go by them. And Muslims, it is required of you as an article of faith to believe in the hadiths or the traditions or the prophetic sunnah, those sayings and the doings of Muhammad. Or we get to remain. So Christian Prince actually was engaged in this dialogue with a Muslim, and this is an Islamic woman, okay? And I think this is going to be shown on the screen. It's going to emerge on your screen, and you're going to see, okay, this book that is Sahih al-Bukhari. It talks of the wedlock or marriage, and in Arabic it is nikah, okay, nikah, okay. It was narrated Aisha. It was narrated Aisha. The bibliography and the footnote are going to be presented, are going to be revealed on the screen, and you're going to be able to put them down. Okay, it was narrated Aisha. Okay, it was narrated Aisha that the Prophet married her when she was 6 years old, and he consummated his marriage when she was 9 years old, and then she remained with him for 9 years. That is till his death. So in accordance with this book I've given you, Aisha was 6 years old. Okay, she was a prepubescent girl. Okay, Muslims do tell you that Aisha was 9 years when Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, just as how Muslims will put it, how we get to remain. Aisha was 9 years when Muhammad laid her in bed. Wow, this is very much critical. Okay, Muhammad is said to be a true prophet from God, but he was able to lay in bed with a 9 years old girl. She was 6 years old when Abu Bakr gave her to him. So Abu Bakr, I think, was a very wicked man. How can you present your 6 years old girl, 6 years old daughter to a so-called prophet, Muhammad? You see, and Muhammad was able to accept this. He took this little girl from her parents, and a girl that was very much naive about anything in regards to sexual relation, and even she had her genital area closed. Okay, she was very young. She was very young. She was very tiny girl. Okay, she was a child. And Muhammad was in his 50s, but was able to lay with this smallish girl, this 9-year-old girl in bed. Look at how, and I think, imagine how she would be screaming. Imagine how she would be, imagine the pain. I'll be getting with me. She would go through several lot of pains, but this man didn't consider. Okay, this man didn't consider the pain Aisha was going to go through. Still, he took her virginity away from her violently. Let me put it that way. I'll be get to him. I think had it been like it was today, seriously, Abu Bakr would have been arrested. But those times, I think their system of marriage and all that was just that way. That's why maybe the prophet, who is claimed to be from God, wasn't able to change anything like that, but also was himself drenched into such same act. This very much uncalled for about a true prophet from God. How we get to him? So shall we? Let's go to Christian Prince. We're going to hear him out on this portion of his program with this Islamic woman. Okay, so he asks a question. He says, if Ashar Ali or Zakir Naik, who is 54 years old, comes for your 6 years old girl's hand in marriage, would you accept that? Would you accept that because Allah says you should give her into marriage with him? Would you accept that? So let's hear Christian Prince out and we will return.
Shabir Ali, he come now and he want to ask for your hand, or Zakir Naik. Zakir Naik is 54 years old. Your daughter is 6 years old, and he came to marry your daughter according to Allah teaching. Are you willing to do that?
So this is a question being propounded by Christian Prince. Okay, when he asked this question, what is the response of the Islamic woman? Shall we hear her out and return?
I would advise her to wait.
You see, so she says, I will advise her to wait. You would advise who? You would advise your 6 years old girl to wait for a 50 years old man? What is this? You have to be sincere. It is very much uncalled for. And most of the times, Muslims try their possible best to protect the face of Muhammad. And for that matter, they do not want to accede to the fact that he even erred or he even sinned. This is very much uncalled for. And I don't think any system or any system of reality can ever accept or accede to anything like that. Nowhere in the world, I think, would you ever encounter anything like that. I think there are some tribes in our countries or in most of our in most of the countries around the world who accede to the fact that a person can betroth a 6-year-old girl, or what is it, maybe 9 years old girl, 12, or blah 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 blah. Or we get to, but I don't think there is such practices going on anywhere around the world where a 6-year-old girl or a person within his 50s or within their 50s can be able to lay with a 9-year-old. This is called pedophile. What is if a person is engaged in something like this, he's a pedophile. All we get to me, he's a pedophile. That is it. All we get to me. So I think it is very much uncalled for. He defiled the girl, okay, and it's a pedophilia act. It isn't good. All we get to me. So what this Islamic woman is saying, Muslim woman is saying, is very much uncalled for, okay, and I think it baffles mind. How would you tell your 6-year-old girl to wait for a 50-year-old man? Okay, how would you do this? So Christian Prince just pinpointed and what is it, some of the Islamic scholars, that is Shabir Ali and Zakir Naik. If these ones comes to you and tell you, I want your daughter, your 6-year-old girl or 6-year-old daughter's hand in marriage, would you just give them out to them? Okay, and for the woman to say, no, I would never do that. 6-year-old girl, what does she know? 9-year-old girl, what does she know? How would I just recommend a 6-year-old girl or 9-year-old girl to a 54-year-old man? Okay, how would I commit a 6-year-old girl or 9-year-old girl into the hand of a 54 years old girl, old man, 54-year-old man? Okay, she wasn't able to say this, but she's saying, I would just tell her to wait. Tell her to wait for who? So at what age would you recommend or would you commit her into the hand of Zakir Naik or Shabir Ali, who are in their 50s? How we get to with me? So this is very much uncalled for. We just have to be sincere. Okay, if you're a Muslim woman, don't think you wanna protect the face of your prophet, and for that matter, what's those stuffs he did, those stuffs he did shabbily are just going to be supported by you, all because you have no choice. No, you shouldn't do that. Okay, you have to be sincere. Okay, so Christian Prince kept on propounding the question. He says, you will advise your 6-year-old daughter to wait? Christian Prince is in shock, just like how I'm in shock right now. Let's hear him out and return.
Oh, you will advise your 6-year-old guys, she will advise her 6-year-old daughter to wait.
Yes, so that's exactly what she's saying. She says, I will advise her to wait. Let's hear her out again.
I would advise her to wait.
You see, she will advise her to wait. And Christian Prince asks, are you serious? Again, let's hear him out and return.
Are you serious?
Yes, I think it's a very nice question. Are you serious? Yes, she's serious. Okay, she's serious, and I think this is happening in most of the Islamic lands. Okay, most of the Arabic lands and all that. I think it's happening, but I don't think it's weird like what the Prophet did. You see, and I think there are many stuffs in the Quran that tells you that even Muhammad had many privileges a Muslim do not have today. Okay, here being the case, he was having 12, some says 13, and even some says 9 wives. I'll be get to me, and he had lot of concubines. I'll be get to me. So how come if a Muslim wants to marry 5, 4, 3, 2, and all that, it should be objectionable? No. It shouldn't be objectionable. Even the Quran itself do not support the idea that a Muslim man should have 2, 3, 4 or 5 wives. The Quran itself doesn't support this idea. And I came across a Muslim with my counterparts in Obuasi, okay, just recently, and these two Muslim women were able to tell us that they know for sure that Quran do not support the idea that a Muslim man should practice polygamy. Fancy you marrying 2, 3, 4 wives, okay, 4 or 5 wives, okay. She do know for sure that the Quran do not accept or accede to that idea, but they are doing it because they think it is something that has been said by their imams, their sheikhs, their ustads and all that. Though they claim the Quran Quran tells them to do to do what's necessary and all that. The Quran is their standard of authority and all that. But what they are doing isn't stipulated anywhere in the Quran, because the Quran puts it conditional. When you read Surah Al-Nisa, Ayah 3, the Quran says that if you are a Muslim and you can marry 2, 3, up to 4, okay, 2, 3, or 4 wives, if only you can be able to be truthful to all of them. Okay, if you could be able to be truthful to them equally. Okay, if you cannot be truthful to them equally, if you could not treat them equally, you will have to just then marry only one. Okay, and when you go to the same surah and the ayah 129 of the Quran, that is Surah An-Nisa 129, the Quran says that Allah puts it point blank, Allah puts it ostensibly, that no Muslim man can ever be able to marry multiple wives and be able to treat them equally. Therefore, what is the Quran telling you? The Quran is saying that marry only one if you are a Muslim. Okay, so if you're a Muslim woman, don't let your people trick you with the idea that we practice limited polygyny and blah blah. No, it is never true. Why don't they allow you to also practice polyandry? Fancy you, the woman, engaging yourself in a marriage or in a relationship with 2, 3, 4 men. Okay, why don't they allow you to do so? Okay, this is a cheat. All we get with me. And if any Muslim man tells you they are allowed to marry 2, 3, 4 wives, blah blah blah, it is never true. Tell them I told you over here that the Quran never supports that idea. Okay, the Quran says marry only one, because in Surah Al-Nisa, Ayah 3, we find conditional statement over there that if you cannot be able to treat them equally or all equal, then marry only one. And when you go to Surah Al-Nisa, Ayah 129, the Quran says no matter what you do, comes whatever may, you cannot be able to marry multiple wives, multiple women, and be able to treat them equally. Therefore, the Quran is saying marry only one. That is the condition. Okay, Allah is dealing with theologically over here. He says, comes whatever may, you can never do it. So if Allah is saying you can never do it, how can you say, I will be able to do it? Allah is saying you cannot do it. No matter what you do, you can go any length, but you can never do it. How we get to him. So that's how most Muslims tries to do stuffs in their do stuffs in their own favor, and they abnegate what the Quran says. How we get to him. So she says she would wait. She would tell her daughter to wait. And Christian Princess, I think, filled with goose flesh or goose pimple over here, because myself, I'm also feeling amazed over here, because this isn't fair. How we get to him. So Christian Prince asked again, are you serious? And this is the response of this Islamic woman.
Yeah, which means
He responded simply, yes. Yeah, I'm actually going to tell my daughter to wait. You see, I'm actually going to tell my daughter to wait. Okay, what about Ghana here? In Ghana, what is the universal adult suffrage in Ghana? That is 18 years. Okay, I think in Ghana it is in the law that if a girl is at their or within their 18 years, okay, they can be able to be drenched into marriage. Okay, they can be allowed into marriage and all that. Okay, though there are some countries who says their universal adult suffrage is 16 or 17 or blah blah blah. I think I've heard something like that before. All we get to me, because they think at that very age, from 16 and 17 thereabout, that person is reasoning very much accurately and all that. You get that, and the person begins to be reasoning accurately from the age of 12 and all that. That's exactly what people say. For that matter, the universal adult suffrage is somewhat 16, 17 and thereabout. All we get to me. But in Ghana, the universal adult suffrage is 18 years. So if a girl is 18, then that person can be drenched into marriage. All we get to me. So what about we going by the idea that a girl of 6 years can be given into marriage, a girl of 9 years can even get in bed with a man and all that. So if anything like that happens in Ghana, what are we going to do to such a person who did such to that girl? Because the girl is very much naive. Okay, she doesn't know the consequences, what actually is going to happen. Okay, that person has to be forced into sex. Aisha was forced into sex. Okay, it's a pedophile act. Okay, so the Prophet didn't do it well. That's exactly what we have to accept. Okay, it isn't good. Okay, it's a defilement. He defiled the child. Okay, it's an act of it's a pedophile act. Okay, it's a pedophile act. It isn't good. We just need to accede to the fact. We just need to be able to go by the reality. How we get to with me? We just have to go by the reality. Okay, that's exactly what happened. So, shall we proceed? Shall we proceed? And we are ending it up here. Christian Prince again said, "Are you serious by saying this? A girl eating chocolate, toffees, you will advise this girl to marry later?" Shall we hear him out and return?
Your daughter, she is 6 years old. She doesn't know even what marriage means. What do you mean you will advise her to wait? No, hold on. You know, when you say I will advise my daughter who is 6 years old to wait, I mean, are you serious? She is 6 years old daughter. She is eating chocolate and she have ton chocolate in her face. This is the girl you want to advise her to wait to get married later?
Well,
It's true. Aisha was very much young. She was a younger girl. She was a little girl, a little child. Okay? Her father was Abu Bakr. So I don't know what Muhammad gave to Abu Bakr. Or is it because he had wanted to become the first caliph? Is it because he had wanted to become the successor of, or he had wanted to succeed the prophet? That's why. So you see, like, it is very much uncalled for. How can a father do this? Abu Bakr was very much wicked man. Okay, so I think sometimes the blame need not to all be given to Muhammad, but rather Abu Bakr himself as well, because he is the one that committed his daughter into the hand of Muhammad. How we get to me? He committed his daughter into the trust of Muhammad. Okay, so if he had requested for your daughter's hand into marriage, and you knew for sure your daughter was very much younger, she was a little girl, okay? She's a prepubescent girl and knows nothing about marriage, knows nothing about sexual relation. How would you give her hand? How would you give her to an old man like this, a a man in his 50s, to have sexual relation with her? Did you ever go there to visit her? And did you see her facial expressions and all that, and what's the trauma she would go through? I think it would even affect her mind. Okay, Aisha went through a lot. Okay, a very little girl like this who would be eating toffees, calipos, and all that. I don't know if there were calipos at that time. I'll be getting with me. It is very much uncalled for. Okay, this must not be said about a true prophet. Jesus Christ wasn't like this. Okay, Isaiah, Jeremiah, and all that weren't like this. Daniel wasn't like this. I'll be getting with me. All the biblical prophets you Quran do mentions weren't like this, with the exception of Muhammad. So which God sent him to who and to where? I'll be getting with me. Beloved, may God richly bless you. Shall we just think about it, contemplate about this, reflect on this, and you get to know that this is the reason you have to leave Islam and you have to cling to Jesus Christ, because he was a holy prophet, and even your own Quran says that he was holy and he never committed any error while on earth. That's exactly why I tell you always and every time about the accommodation theory. I'll be getting with me. Greetings to everybody. Uncle Sam of Ghana House, that Toronto, Canada. Greetings to you, Ma'am Esther Anim, that is Samuel Asamoah of Toronto, Canada. Greetings to you, Mr. Daniel Dan Kwashin Shen of Palermo, Church of Christ, Italy, and also Mr. Williams of Palermo, Church of Christ, Italy. May God richly bless you all for helping us in sharing this program over here. And also Nanaya Asamoah, Nanaya Fosu, Vincent Nana Ofe. All of you are under the comment section, and all of you there who does debates and all that under the comment section. May God richly bless you. Help us with your likes and also your subscriptions and all that. And may God richly bless you. Shall we meet once again another time? Bye-bye.